Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Fietta. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to be sharing a resource with you. I will describe it in this video and then you can actually download it through the link in the description beneath the video. So, as a dementia caregiver, there is a good chance you spend a lot of your time repeating yourself or listening to repeated responses. Let me give you an example. If your loved one with dementia asks you a question, sometimes they might ask you things like, where am I? Is this my home? Or they may ask you, did we already eat? Just something simple like that. You answer them, they ask again just a few moments later. Or perhaps you've asked them to do something like take their medication or eat some food that's set in front of them. And you may find yourself asking again and again and again and again. This can be very frustrating to handle. It doesn't mean that you're not cut out for this role. It just means that you're facing a challenging situation. So hopefully to help you out a little bit, I've created a chart of some potential alternate responses when you face these situations. So I'll explain this, and then again, you can actually download it through the link in the comment section below. All right, here we go. One thing that you can do is just to say a little less. Sometimes it's hard for somebody with dementia to process what you're saying, so they're not necessarily grasping everything. And even if they are, they may not remember later. So to give yourself a little break, perhaps you can try to figure out ways to cue them without saying anything at all. For instance, if you're trying to get somebody to eat, you might want to simply set food in front of them, sit down next to them, and begin eating yourself. This could be enough of a cue to get them to eat instead of you having to ask them to do it. You might also try giving a different answer. Perhaps something about what you're saying isn't clicking with them. It might be hard for you to say the exact same thing over and over again without it feeling a bit sarcastic or without it being frustrating. So you could just try answering a little bit differently. For instance, my loved one with dementia thinks that I'm her friend from Korea sometimes. I'm not. I'm actually her family member, and I've never been to Korea as much as I'd like to go someday. The natural thing is to try to orient the person to reality. So I might say something like, no, I'm your granddaughter. And I can say this again and again and again and again. Instead, I might just try to switch it up a little bit and say, oh, you're from Korea. Who else do you know there? That way it gets them off that same track that they've been thinking through for a while, and it can kind of change things up for me. All right, redirecting. This is a big one. If you're in a situation where you don't feel your loved one is safe, safety has to be the priority, but that can be a challenge at times. Sometimes instead of directly confronting your loved one, it's better to redirect. If your loved one is insisting on going outside and they're not dressed appropriately for the weather, so you're concerned about their wellness and safety, instead of saying, no, you can't go out right now, or no, you have to put this on first, and kind of creating that confrontation, perhaps you could redirect and say something more along the lines of, sure, let's go outside. Do you want to go after lunch? What did you want to eat? And just kind of change the dynamic of the conversation so that you're agreeing with them, but still changing what's going on so that they can be safe, but also happy. I also throw on a reminder to ask for help if you need it, whether you're asking a family member, friend, local resources through either your Alzheimer's Association or another organization. Ask for help if you need it. All right, last of all, when things get really frustrating, sometimes it helps to just take a moment and remember your loved one before dementia. Just remember a special memory, maybe even put reminders, pictures, or write down a memory that you love with this person to remember who they are. It can be really discouraging if your loved one becomes confrontational, accusatory. Going back to a happy memory with that person can be really helpful, and at least for me, it can really help to kind of reorient me to what's important. Okay, these are just a few ideas. Many of them are based off of my own experiences. Take them if they're helpful. Please disregard if they're not. As always, while I want to share my ideas and resources when I can, this is not intended to be medical advice or recommendation because I'm not that kind of doctor. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, we have other videos and resources. Follow Silver Science 20 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.